Welcome, Erica. Thank you so much for your time. We've been working together since April, so it's been about 6 months. I think we missed 1 month in between, but you've been so consistent with this. So I really appreciate the time that you put into this. Everybody that came into this program, I've continued to just say that they've been stellar leaders. This has never been about anything other than providing an additional resource for leaders. But everybody coming into this has been super strong. So as I look at some of the things that we've talked about in our time that we've been together, we assessed your team. You always came with specific leadership challenges. So we talked a lot about accountability. We touched from time to time on work-life balance, but we also did a great assessment where you looked at yourself and where you think you were strong, areas where you'd like to improve. And then we talked, we kind of finished it up with time management. Accountability was a big theme throughout most of our sessions. And I think your executive presence is stellar. So we touched on that a little bit, but you're a great role model of what an organization should want in somebody when they think about an executive, a leader that has executive presence, because that's important. So with all of that said, now I'm going to have you talk. We're going to move into some of these questions. And the first one is, during our coaching period together, what have you achieved that you are most proud of?
For me, it's been really just having that extra for you bouncing ideas off of, right? And kind of having that confidence in there. And then also being able to translate some of that stuff down to my team. We talked a lot about work-life balance, and healthcare has been super crazy with staffing challenges. And I see that at my communities as well. And while I want that for myself, I also want that for my team, because I don't want them to burn out. And, it's stressful. It takes a lot of their time. So being able to let them know, hey, you can take that break, like set those boundaries and try to have that balance as much as possible in what we do.
That's awesome. And they need to hear that from us as leaders, because it shows that we really do care, we value them, and that we know that if they have balance, they'll be more effective leaders. So thank you for that. Is there anything specifically that you are doing differently or started doing differently as a result of our coaching time together?
I have created more tools and I haven't been able to roll out like that HWD one-on-one just yet. But I feel like I've been more consistent in my follow-up emails. I've always sent very detailed follow-up emails, but I feel like I've been more consistent in doing so after each visit, despite the craziness going on, because like you said previously, a lot of our focus was accountability and holding everyone accountable, as well as myself accountable to what we say we're going to do.
And a big part of that is that you have to repeat. So that's good that you've done that. So what specifically have you learned about your team in the time that we've been together?
For my team, I've learned that the routine and the consistency and the repeat definitely helps them. Some of the communities I've learned where some people are a little bit defensive when those emails or that follow-up is kind of there. And it's just a different way to approach those people. It's interesting how informative emails or just follow-up emails can kind of set people off a little bit on the rails, but at least it lets me know how to approach that person and how to better explain, maybe when I'm in the community or in the emails, that this is just a tool to help you, not really for anything else.
Yeah. And what I've gained from you is that you're big on making sure that people have the tools and resources to make them successful. So, that's just a stellar thing or characteristic that not enough leaders have. So that's really great. So I've learned that about you. So that leads into, what specifically have you learned about yourself?
I have learned that sometimes my emails, because I'm so detailed in the tool piece of it, that my emails can be overwhelming. It's a ton of information at once, because I do want them to have from start to finish. If they can't access me, you can read it and know exactly what you need to do. And sometimes that can be a little bit overwhelming. I've worked with different RDOs who are not very detailed focused and detailed oriented, but I am. So it's just trying to balance that out with the tools that they need to complete the job, but also not overwhelm them.
And this I may have already asked this maybe in a different way. How has the program helped you?
Definitely a sounding board for me. And then also just keeping that focus up, because each time you and I would talk about a tool and I would talk about what I was working on at that time, I knew I had to complete it because I was going to be on a call with you and you would ask me
Yeah.
where that would go.
Mhm.
So putting a little bit more focus on those items that I like to do and tools that I like to give to the team, in addition to everything that I'm required to do as my job.
Yeah, that's awesome. So don't ever stop that. That I kind of see, Erica, that when people are like, oh, you give too much, it's too much, it's because they don't want to be held accountable. Might not be true for you, but we've talked about accountability so much, and I find that it's hard to escape a self-accountability when your leader is providing you with all the tools that they think, what else do you need? Then you need to let me know.
Mhm.
But you're super great at that. So keep that up. And I hope that that trickles down throughout the communities, especially with the people that you're working with, that those tools and resources trickle down throughout the community because you create those to make them more effective.
And I'm seeing that they are slowly, because the
Mhm.
community leaders are so busy right now, but I am starting to see those things trickle down and help our health and wellness directors be better leaders and also help them manage their team and what they delegate.
Wonderful, tremendous. All right. What changes would you recommend for this program?
Honestly, I would not recommend any changes. I feel like it was very beneficial. We hit on the points that we needed to and areas that I needed to focus.
Mhm.
So I really wouldn't change anything about our time together with this program.
All right, wonderful, wonderful. And just one last question, and then you'll be free to leave. The biggest thing with this is sustaining the momentum. So what are you going to start, stop, or continue doing to ensure that you sustain the momentum? You're on a great path with making sure that that communication and that follow-up is there, so that people can be successful. What are you going to start, stop, continue doing to sustain this momentum that you're on?
I'm going to continue to send out like my emails, my details, my weekly follow-ups. For
Mhm.
example, I have a weekly on Fridays. I send out this report of the documentation that we're doing, and I'm just going to continue those types of things. I think
Mhm.
throughout the program, you and I talked a little bit about start, stop, continue.
Yeah.
And we've kind of stopped some of those extra things along the way. And what I've
Yeah.
started throughout the process is just making sure that any of the tools that I have in the emails that I'm sending, I'm
Mhm.
explaining those more in person. That way they have that, they have the voice and the vocal coaching at the community, and then they have the follow-up. So, and that seems to be effective so far.
Excellent. Very good. Any stop?
Um, No stop at the moment that I can think
Okay.
of. Like I said, I think we've stopped some of those extra things
Yeah.
throughout.
Okay.
Stop sending additional emails or, and just kind of keep it to the follow-up emails, the expectations, and try to keep any non-essential emails to a minimum.
Wonderful, wonderful. Well, as I close, it's been such a joy to work with you, to get to know you. I thought that COVID would be over by now, and I'd get to meet some of the people in person, but that didn't happen. But maybe in the future, that may happen. But you just continue to do the stellar things that you've been doing. It's been tremendous to have the opportunity to be a sounding board, a coach, or whatever. And I know that you're going to go on to do great things and really continue to lead your team in such a wonderful way. So thank you so much for your time. I know you've got a lot going on today. Have a wonderful weekend. And I'm always here if you need somebody to talk to. You just
Thank
send me
you.
an
Thank you for
email.
putting such an excellent program together
All right.
for this, and working with many of our leaders and people like below me at the community level to help get them where they need to be as well. So thank you.
Erica, I appreciate that. My pleasure. All right. Have a wonderful day. Bye.
You too. Bye-bye.